Hi, beautiful souls, and welcome to day 4 of our 10-day soul manifestation challenge. So today we're diving into the transformational power of gratitude. So where we're going to learn to shift our focus to one that cultivates a deeper sense of peace, happiness, and joy. So this is a short video, so I won't be going into too much detail because I want you to do the practical exercise, which is really the journaling aspect of it. But to summarize about what gratitude is, so gratitude is really more than just an emotion or a feeling, it's a state of being. So you might hear a lot of people saying, oh, you should write your gratitude journal every day, but why do we need to cultivate this sense of gratitude? So when we learn to consciously move our attention towards what we're grateful for, we can shift our perception and raise our consciousness so we see things from a higher perspective. We learn to see aspects of our lives in a different light, and we let go of resistance, and instead we sort of shift into more flow and understand and embrace the present moment more fully. So gratitude doesn't always mean having to paint over or spiritually whitewash all the bad things that might happen around us in the world and within our own lives. It's not to belittle us, to make us feel bad about maybe not feeling gratitude all the time, because that's part of being human. There is no judgment. It's just that sometimes, and I fall into this trap as much as anybody, that sometimes unless I make a conscious effort to notice all the good things I have in my life, my immediate response is to go back into lack, to go back into self-doubt and fear. And it's this conscious effort sometimes that you need to kind of see things from a different perspective. And I feel like after doing this spiritual work for a number of years, I feel like it's because a lot of us have been deeply programmed to not look for the good things in life, but to look for the problems, to look for the things to complain about. I mean, how often did I hear my gran complaining about the weather, or just talking to anybody about the weather, or anybody in general? The first thing sometimes people say is, oh, it's terrible weather today. And you're like, yes, it is. And that immediately lowers our vibration. And it's not to say judge anybody for seeing that, it's just that's what kind of part of society. That's just something that we do. But we also judge ourselves very harshly. We judge where we are in life. We think we should be further ahead, or we should be more successful, or we should have more money, or we should be prettier, or we judge maybe other people around us. We might judge our family, our friends. And that can make us move into that lack and fear-based thinking. So gratitude kind of takes us out of that. For me, gratitude is also a form of surrender, but it's also a way for me to connect more deeply to my soul, because I'm trusting that life is unfolding the way it should be, that I'm in the right place and in the right moment, and I let go of that judgment and fear when I think about all the good things I do have, because I appreciate the present moment more. And when we live in that kind of appreciation, we start to attract more of that good stuff, all that good things that we start to see in our daily lives. It starts to come to us more naturally. We don't force things to happen. Instead, we move into a state of flow. So gratitude is so important for many aspects, but for me personally, it's because it gives me that gateway to my soul. It opens up my heart to that loving energy. So how can we practice gratitude? So it can be the practice can be as simple as you want it to be. Sometimes I don't even write in my journal about what I'm grateful for. I just take time throughout my day to maybe think of 3 or 4 things that I'm really grateful for in that moment. And I might practice that in the morning, in the afternoon, lunchtime when I'm walking the dogs, or in the evening. It depends where your life is and how busy you are. So you don't have to have this gratitude journal that you write in every day, because God knows I've had about 6 of them and I never stick to it. I'm the worst for sticking to things. If it's easy for me to do, then I'll find the easiest way to do it. So I just think of it basically and feel into that energy. And for me, that practice works for me. It might be that you need to write it down and feel into it and visualize it, but whatever works for you, there is no constriction around your spiritual practice. I'm only giving you guidance. So how do we practice gratitude? So think of, it can be moments, small moments throughout your day that you maybe never noticed before, but when we think about them, we think about how they've added to our lives. So it could be a fridge full of food, or our cupboards are stocked, or we suddenly got paid today, or that we were able to get out in nature and it was a nice, beautiful day, or we appreciate that cuddle with the loved one or with a pet, or we just feel that connection to our spiritual side. We feel connected to who we are. Those things can be really powerful part of your gratitude practice, because although they might be part of your everyday life, when we start to notice them more, we see things from a higher perspective. We appreciate all the things that we do have, and that can really open up your energy and your soul. So I'm going to give you 3 journal prompts ideas if you want to do a journal prompt. If not, feel free just to think of a few things throughout the next few days and add this to part of your soul practice. So one journal prompt is, what 3 things am I grateful for today? So take a moment to reflect on the big things, the small things. It could be, as I said, if it's a nice day, you feel the warmth on your face from the sun, you meet up with a friend, you enjoy some coffee and a cake, or maybe you have time just to spend for yourself. Another journal prompt is, how can I bring more awareness to moments of gratitude throughout my day? So consider how you can really weave gratitude moments throughout your day. Perhaps when you're making breakfast, perhaps thanking the food that you've got in front of you, thanking how you got that food in front of you, thanking the where you bought it from, thanking how the people that allowed it to be there for you, thanking anything. When you thank yourself, most importantly, thank your heart, thank your life, thank your being for being here, for sharing, thank the people around you. So gratitude can be in every little moment, every single moment, if we wanted it to be. It could be when we're breathing, when we're just in general living, when we're moving through life and just trusting the flow and surrendering to the magic of the universe. That in itself can be part of your powerful practice. And then, what resilience am I feeling today, and how can gratitude help me release it? So gratitude can sometimes bring up those blocks where we might experience a level of resistance to feeling gratitude for that thing or that person, or maybe a lesson that you're struggling to see the positive side of, which is completely understandable. It might not have a positive side. But sometimes when we start to learn to practice gratitude, we can start seeing things from a higher perspective. And sometimes those life lessons that come through and challenge us and make us feel like we've done something wrong, or we wonder why this happened to us, sometimes you can see it from a higher perspective. For example, just a quick story for why I might see certain past life lessons of myself, how that might help you apply that to yours. But when I went to university, I spent 5 years there, and I got my honours in animal biology and my master's in wildlife conservation. And I had this whole plan mapped out so strictly, and I had it mapped out since I was probably about 6, about what I wanted to do with my life. I wanted to be David Attenborough, basically. I wanted to go to Africa, work in conservation, help rehabilitate animals into the wild. And that was my dream. That was my only dream. I wouldn't let anything else come into that dream. That was it. And I was stuck on that path, and there was nothing that could get me off that. and I finally got my master's done. And I remember part of my master's was going to Africa and doing my dream, being out there with the wildlife. And I realised my dream wasn't what I wanted after all. I had spent my whole life just focused, blinkered onto this path, but when I actually went over there, I realised there was some really dark stuff around conservation work, especially conservation work around there. And it really shook me to the core, so much so that after university I just left that dream altogether, and I was broken. I was broken inside. My soul was fragmented. I felt lost. And at the same time, I was dealing with some trauma as well from my past, and I ended up being completely lost. But that's where I ended up opening, excuse my dog, opening my heart. And I ended up learning Reiki because I got my first Reiki, and it helped open my heart up. My dog here, and it helped open my heart up. And once I learned Reiki, then I started to connect to angels and crystals, and then I started to do readings for friends and family, and then I realised there was something in my soul guiding me, even though this had nothing to do with what I had a dream of. It was still something that I felt really called in to do it. And that was over 15 years ago now, and I'm still on that path. I'm still sharing. I'm not getting very far, very far with the online work that I've done, but I still share. I still do it because even though it doesn't support me financially or anything like that, I do it because it comes from my soul. And that's how gratitude helped me see those life lessons and how they've led me here, and how thankful, incredibly thankful I am that they did. So there can be some awful things that may have happened to you in the past, but they've led you to be the person you are today, this powerful, transformational being that you are, who is filled with so much light and love. So there can be awful things, but sometimes when we see them from a higher perspective, we can release them with gratitude, which is such a powerful practice. We can let them go with love, and we can move on, and we can connect to our hearts more deeply because we've let go of that block that's been surrounding it. So today is really about going through those 3 journaling prompts, and also just taking time to notice throughout the day what magic can you notice in the next few days around this 10-day practice and further on. Please let me know. I'd love to know how you're getting on this. So I will see you tomorrow.